Hi everyone. I am going to start to read the chapter book, The Super Awful Superheroes of Classroom 13. This is part of a series in our library called Classroom 13, and they're all pretty funny. They make fun of like what would happen if you actually got your wish. Like if you wish for a lot of money and you got it, would it really be as good as you think it is going to be? So this one is going to be about what would happen if you got superpowers. Would it really be as fantastic as it sounds? This one has lots of chapters, so I'll probably read a couple of them today, and then you'll have to come back for the next installment. The Super Awful Superheroes of Classroom 13 by Honest Lee and Matthew J. Gilbert. Chapter 1, Not So Super Linda. There's not so many pictures, but I'll show them when they can. When unlucky schoolteacher Miss Linda Lacrosse woke up Thursday morning, she hoped it would be another beautiful day. You see, in recent days, the weather had been perfect, sunny skies with a crisp, cool breeze. But not today. Miss Linda opened her curtains to see a terrible thundercloud rolling over the neighborhood. The cloud was black and red and crackled with purple electricity. Mumbling and grumbling to herself, Miss Linda got ready for the day. She put lipstick around her eyes and mascara on her lips. She put a necklace in her hair and a bow around her neck. Then she put her skirt on top and a sweater on the bottom. As she left the house, she whispered, "I feel as though I'm missing something. Oh yes, my umbrella." Miss Linda then realized she had also left her keys inside the house. "I'm locked out of my own house again," she said to herself. You might be thinking to yourself that Miss Linda sure is forgetful. This is true, but so are most people with a lot on their minds. Miss Linda had hidden a key somewhere in her yard, but she couldn't remember where she'd hidden it. In fact, she had done this dozens of times. She needed to remember to write it down. But of course, she'd forget that too. Not wanting to be late for work, Miss Linda hurried along the sidewalk. With no keys and no umbrella, she couldn't drive or protect herself from the rain, so she had to be fast. As she walked along quickly, she felt as though the scary storm cloud was following her. But that was unlikely, wasn't it? The strange cloud crackled with purple electricity and then went boom! It shot a bolt of lightning right at Miss Linda. It missed her by only a few inches. "Yikes!" the teacher yelled, running as fast as she could. As Miss Linda ran into the school, she saw her boss. I know, I'm late," she said. The principal said, "No, you're not. You're actually early for once." But Miss Linda was still running. She ran down the hallway and into classroom 13. She locked the door and closed the windows. The thundercloud was still outside. She was sure it had followed her. So Miss Linda did what any sensible person would do. She pulled down the blinds and pretended the cloud didn't exist. A few minutes later, there was a knock, knock, knock at the door. "Miss Linda, may I come inside the classroom?" Olivia asked from the hallway. "I would like to learn today." "Oh, yes, of course, come in," Miss Linda said, unlocking the door. "Why did you lock the door?" Olivia asked. "A storm cloud followed me to school," Miss Linda explained. "That is highly unlikely," Olivia said. "What's unlikely?" Mason asked, following Olivia into the classroom with his cow Touchdown. "Mason, what have I told you?" Miss Linda said. "Touchdown has to stay outside. We already have a class pet. His name is Earl, and he is a gerbil." "You mean hamster," Olivia corrected Miss Linda. "Is there a difference?" Miss Linda asked. "Gerbils have long furry tails. Hamsters do not," Olivia said. She was a bit of a know-it-all. "Please let me bring my cow inside," Mason begged the teacher. "There's a scary storm cloud outside, and Touchdown is scared." "Fine," Miss Linda said. "Touchdown may stay as long as she does not disrupt class." "How could a cow disrupt class?" Mason asked, rolling his eyes. When the bell rang, the rest of the students rushed in to take their seats. Of Miss Linda's 27 students, all 27 were present. Miss Linda counted again to make sure that was correct. She asked, "Santiago, are you well enough to be in school?" "Yes," he sniffled, wiping his nose on his sleeve. "I refuse to miss another exciting day of school just because of a dumb little cold." Santiago was so pale he was the same color as the chalk. When he sneezed, huge strands of neon green snot came out of his nose. "There's nothing exciting about school," Priya yawned. there is in this classroom, Santiago said. This class has won the lottery, made magic gin wishes, and became famous. And then we lost all of it, William reminded him. I bet we're cursed. Being cursed would be exciting, Emma said. Well, it looks like we have a full day of class, Miss Linda said. We should probably get started. Today we'll be learning about... Hold on, I'd like to return to our previous conversation, Olivia interrupted. She was smart, but she was also quite rude. You said that the storm cloud outside the school followed you to work. Could you please explain how and why a cloud would follow a person? I have no idea. I'm not a weather forecaster, Miss Linda said. But it did. Miss Linda, really, Olivia said, shaking her head. It's not like that thundercloud is hanging out around outside the windows waiting for you. Triple J interrupted as he peeked outside. Actually, it is. The students rushed to the windows to see. Students, no! Return to your seats at once, Miss Linda cried. But it was too late. Crack, 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 boom! A huge bolt of purple lighting crashed through the window and struck everyone in classroom 13. It was lucky for Olivia that Miss Linda was not the kind of person to say, I told you so. Because if she was that kind of person, she could have, and she would have been right in doing so. But Miss Linda wasn't that kind of person, so she didn't say, I told you so. Though I, your honest author, honestly, certainly would have. What's that? Oh, you want to know what happened to everyone? Don't worry, no one was hurt. Not yet, anyway. Chapter 2, Super Miss Linda. Is everyone okay? Miss Linda asked, rubbing her head. Miss Linda, you're flying, Fatima said. And Santiago is on fire, Miss Linda screamed. I'll put it out, Tio said, but he said it so fast no one understood. Tio grabbed the fire extinguisher and ran around Santiago 16 times in 1 second, squirting him with the white powder. Somehow, Santiago was still on fire, but he wasn't hurt. In fact, Santiago was laughing. Tio asked, Why are you laughing and why am I super fast? I'm on fire and it kind of tickles, Santiago said. ¿Qué pasó? Hugo answered. You! A giant spider, Priya said, except when she spoke, it was so loud it shook the whole classroom, like an earthquake. I'll kung fu kick it, Triple J said, rushing to the rescue. He was about to kick the 8-legged creature when it spoke. Don't kick me, the boy spider shrieked. It's me, Dev. What happened to everyone? Miss Linda asked. Is it not evident? It certainly is to someone with my level of genius hyper-intellect, Olivia said. Her brain was so huge it pushed out of her skull and glowed. Caused by an alien solar flare from outer space, the electromagnetic storm cloud was filled with radioactive gamma rays that struck and transmuted our physical bodies into a higher form of energy processing systems. Everyone said, huh? At the same time. That is, everyone except Fatima. Fatima smiled bigger and harder than she'd ever smiled before. Oh my gosh, can it be? It's not possible, is it? But it is. It just happened. It's finally happened. What happened? Miss Linda asked. It's just like Peter Power's origin story in Crazy Cool Comics, issue number 89, Fatima explained. Some people get bitten by radioactive bugs. Others are aliens who crash to Earth. And some are struck by weird lightning and get powers. What on earth are you talking about? Miss Linda said. Fatima took a deep breath and then shouted, We all have superpowers! What a silly notion, Miss Linda said to herself as she walked home after work that day. Sure, suddenly Ava can read minds and Benji can change size and Sophia can control the weather, but that's likely a coincidence. Being struck by lightning probably caused us to see things. Yes, that's it. It was all in our head. Superpowers? Ridiculous. Fatima has been reading too many comic books. Dear reader, please note, there's no such thing as reading too many comic books. Comic books are fantastic fun. Suddenly, a mugger tried to snatch Miss Linda's purse, yet no matter how hard he yanked, he couldn't pull the purse from Miss Linda's grip. Stop that, she said. This is my purse. Give it to me, old lady, the thief growled, or else. Old lady? Miss Linda gasped. She only meant to slap the mugger for saying something so rude. Instead, she knocked him all the way across the street and into someone's car, smashing it. The mugger fell to the ground and started crying. That really hurt. I didn't mean to slap you that hard, Miss Linda said. She rushed over to help the mugger. She took his hand to help him up, but when she gripped it, she crushed every bone in his hand. Ow! The mugger screamed. Oh my, Miss Linda said. She tried to pick up the mugger and put him back on his feet. Instead, she tossed him into the air. I didn't know I was so strong. I'm only trying to help. Stop helping, the criminal cried. What are you, some kind of superhero? The teacher picked the mugger up with one hand and held him overhead. He was light as a feather. I guess I am, said Miss Linda. Put me down, the mugger screamed. Miss Linda didn't put him down until she was at the local police station. The cops clapped for Miss Linda. We've been trying to catch this guy for weeks. Thanks for the help. Classroom 13's resident teacher was not used to such praise, but she liked it. When Miss Linda got home, she made herself a mask and a cape. That night, she went out on patrol, which meant she went looking for trouble. When she found it, she fought it with her super strength and stopped criminals from committing crimes. That's when Miss Linda began her double life. If she'd had her own comic book, it would have been titled Teacher by Day, Superhero by Night. Unfortunately, Miss Linda had so much homework to grade, she could only be a superhero on the weekends. And by the time Fridays rolled around, Miss Linda was too tired to do superhero work. You see, teaching kids is a lot of work. After all, it is a huge responsibility and requires a lot of energy. So does being a superhero. In fact, they're pretty much the same thing. Except instead of battling aliens and monsters, teachers battle bad grades and peanut allergies. So Miss Linda had to make a choice. She could be a teacher or a superhero. She couldn't be both. Miss Linda thought long and hard. Finally, she decided to save her strength for her students. After only a few weeks as a superhero, Miss Linda hung up her cape. Instead, she stayed home on the weekends to grade quizzes, watch Netflix, and eat cheese. All right. When we start next time, we'll be on Chapter 3, where we will hear about the powers that Fatima had. Hope you tune in next time.